Hi, today I figured I'd show you how to make a purl stitch and knit two together and a yarn over. I've been knitting these facial wipes. They almost look like mini dishcloths, and essentially it's a very similar pattern. Size makes a difference. These haven't been finished, but I thought I would show you how to do the purl stitch, which you would need to do this 3x3 square, and a knit two together and a yarn over stitch, which would show you how to do this. Okay, they're nice, they're easy, and once you learn how to do them, you can knit dishcloths galore if that's what you like, or face wipes, even better. I use 100% cotton. It's called handcrafter's yarn, basically 100% cotton. This is untreated, so if you want something that you're going to be using with water, like you would with dishcloths or face wipes or baby wipes, you need something that's going to absorb water. Cotton is the best. So 100% cotton, that's what I'm using. If you're going to make something for a baby, you can get a cotton blend. If you want something that's a little more delicate on your skin, again, you can get a cotton blend. I would recommend staying away from wool and acrylic. Acrylic may be okay, blended with cotton, but wool won't do the job as well as the cotton will either. Plus, it's a little more expensive. So this you can do for fairly cheaply, and it still looks good and serves the purpose. So I am going to show you how to do a purl stitch, a Y2K. Y2K, I'm sorry about that. That was like 25 years ago. I'm aging myself. A yarn over and a knit two together is what I meant to say. Okay, so you take your needles. I've already cast on 15 stitches, which is what I use for the facial wipe squares. And I'm going to follow the pattern I was using for this. So essentially, I'm going to knit 5 stitches like I normally do. Oh my, first row is always a little difficult, I find. Now, to knit a purl, all you do is simply take your working yarn from behind and put it to the front. See, that's all it is. It's just bringing it to the front. Simple as that. So now, according to the pattern that I've been using, now I do 5 purls. So I bring it from top, bottom, back, front, whichever way you want to call it, and purl. 1 purl. See what I'm doing? I'm going around the front needle this time instead of the back like I do for a knit. Purl. Down, around, up through. Purl. Down, around, up through. There's my purl stitch. And one more. Down, around, up through. Now I put my yarn back to the back of my knitting. You look very closely. I don't show her how close I am there. Okay, you will notice the regular knit stitches are flat, whereas the purl stitches, you got these bumpy ridges here. That's how you know that's a purl stitch right there. Okay, now we go back to our last 5 knit stitches. Oh my, I really like this blue. Now we turn like we do with all of our knitting. Turn it so we can do the next row. Now you notice this time when we turn our work around, we've got the bumps on this side. Okay, so if you're wondering, hey, what was the last row I knit? Notice, see what your bumps are. If you got bumps, that means it's purl on this side, but look at that, plain old knit on the other side. Okay, that's how you can tell knit and purl. Now, even though it's purl on this side now, what I'm going to do a knit for your first stitch. Even though your row, you're starting with the purl, I start with a knit. It helps keep the size a little straighter and a little neater. Okay, if you start with a purl, it's going to curl up, it's going to go all wonky. So start with a knit, helps with that. Okay, but now before we go back to our purl, you got to bring that yarn back to the front again. Okay, so for purl, because we want to keep it the same pattern as the other side. Okay, for purl, all we had to do, see, you'll notice it's flat, bumpy on this side. Do our 5 knit. Okay, look at that, 5 knit. I think I lost count. Oh, good thing I know it's flat. Okay, 5 knit. back to our purl. Yarn in front, boom. Okay, down, around, up, off, down, around, up, off, down, around, up, off. Now again, it's a little tip. Finish with a knit to keep that nice neat edge. Okay, so that, if you look closely, is the beginning. Purl, knit, purl, knit. On the back, it's going to look like purl, knit, purl. Okay, it's reversible, and it will eventually look like that when you get to the end of it. Okay, of course you can straighten up a little bit when you finish. Okay, now I want to show you, I'm going to keep using the same piece there because, you know, frugality and all that stuff. This is the diamond, the classic grandma dishcloth type of pattern. Like, again, this has not been blocked or shaped in any way. I just finished knitting it and stopped, cut the thread, and that's it. Okay, so to make that, you will need to know a yarn over and a knit two together. I think I'm going to unravel this, actually, rather than start from there. To unravel, boom, just take it all out like that. That's all. Don't be afraid. Take it out, take it out. Use your working yarn and pull. And eventually, all those suckers will be gone. All those stitches are no more. Look at that, back to string. So for this, I started this with 4 stitches. So I'm going to quickly add 4 stitches. This is called the corner to corner square. I like it. It's easy to do. You know, you're watching TV, nothing better to do. For this one, I always do a knitted row first. You know, I don't know, it gives us some stability. You notice we're making this into a triangle. Well, it's not going to work very well if I keep doing 4 stitches all the way up. That's a bookmark, not a triangle. I'm going to add stitches. And in order to add stitches and get these lovely holes on the side, okay, you're going to do a yarn over. So I'll do a knit, okay. Now this is a yarn over, okay. Literally, you take your yarn, bring it through your 2 needles. You see what I'm doing here? Bring it through the 2 needles, okay. Just like you're doing a purl, but you're not going to do a purl. You're going to do a knit, okay, like normal. And the yarn is going to come from the front. And you're going to say, but Lori, hey, that means you're going to have an extra stitch there. Yes, you are going to have an extra stitch, and that's what we want, okay? We're adding a stitch. Now, you look down here, okay? You notice very closely, there's nothing at the bottom because we just threw in a stitch there. Some of us do this by accident. Maybe that's how it was invented. I don't know. I wasn't there, despite my age. Okay, so we'll finish that row. When we look, let's turn it around. You'll see it is a funny looking, I was going to say a wonky looking, I keep using that word too much. A funny looking stitch right there, okay? But because we want more stitches and we want to keep making those holes, when we turn our work around, we're going to knit 2, do another yarn over right here after 2 stitches, yarn over, okay, and then keep on knitting. Nothing to it, okay. Well, I suppose there's nothing to it if you know how to do it, I guess. I shouldn't say nothing to it. Well, it'll be nothing to it once you finish watching this video. How's that? Next row, yarn, we got to knit 2 stitches, okay, yarn over and knit a stitch. Look at that. I'm going to show you here. You notice when you get to what was the yarn over on the other row, it looks kind of weird. Just pretend it's not weird looking and just knit it like a regular stitch. That's all. You will have a hole, but that's the whole point. Okay, there you go. So you will have a hole in your knitting. You can stick that right through there, okay? And normally that's not a good thing, but if you're doing this, it's a very good thing. Count your stitches. What do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. After 3 rows of yarn overs there, we've got 7 stitches. That's how you're going to increase, okay? That's how we do it. And eventually, you go up to 20 stitches, which will give you this size. 25 stitches will give you a little bigger one. 50 will give you a full-size dishcloth. But we're knitting wipes, so we don't need a full-size dishcloth, obviously. We're knitting wipes. Okay, so you go up to 20 stitches. Now you say, Lori, but how do you make it go down on the other side? Well, you know what? I'm going to knit another row here, just to give me a little more to work with. Okay, there you go. Yeah, okay, nice. Now we have 8 stitches. Okay, so 8 stitches. We're going to bring that back down to 4 stitches. How about that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stitches. Okay, now to decrease, we're still doing our yarn overs. That's very important because we only have holes on half the size on one side if we don't do that, right? So this time around, we're going to knit 2 together. Here's the secret 3rd stitch I was going to show you. To knit 2 together, you simply go into the 2nd stitch of the first 2 you want to knit, like this. Oh, it can be a little tight. Knit 2 together. Knit 1. Okay. Yarn over. Okay. Now normally if you knit 2 together and then do a yarn over, you'll have the same number of stitches, but we're trying to decrease every row. So we yarn over and do another knit 2 together. Oh my, okay, yes. You see, knit 2 together. Boom, done. Finish knitting to the end of the row. Okay, and what do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We decreased 1 stitch, which is what we need. Okay, so let's keep doing that. Knit 2 together. Okay, knit 1. Yarn over. See, yarn over. Knit 2 together. Okay, knit to the end. Okay, now we've got 6 stitches. Eventually, you keep going, you're going to end up with 4 stitches again, and you're going to cast off. And then you'll be done. You'll have a triangle. Nothing to it. Now remember, you'll cast off. You're going to finish the way we finished all of our knitting before, okay? And then we'll have squares, okay? The thing to remember, these are squares. Here's a trick. If you don't want, you really don't care if it's 3 inches or 4 inches. These are 4-inch squares. If you really don't care, but you still want a square, knit enough so that when you fold it in half, it makes a nice little triangle. And that way, you know, all the sides are the same length, okay? That's a tip. For those of us who don't like to run upstairs to get our measuring tapes, that is a good way to tell, okay? When you're doing a diamond like this, you're going to knit, for something this size, 4 inches, it's 20 stitches on your needle before you start decreasing. Again, like I said, if you want a little bigger, go 25. If you want a full-fledged dishcloth, same pattern, go to 50 stitches. You'll get an 8 by 8 inch dishcloth. Okay? Everything else, I mean, if you've gotten this far, you're pretty good and you can do all kinds of stuff. Okay, again, this is Lori. I do want to finish off by saying I have my style of knitting. Just because I do it this way doesn't mean it's the only way. It's not wrong if you learn a different style. There's a continental method, there's the English method. I've seen people from different parts of the world knit in different ways. It's all right. You know, get those stitches on the needle and make a nice pattern. That's what it's about. Okay, thank you for watching.